Here is every way that I'm going to increase my net worth in 2026. And knowing your net worth is a great way to measure your financial health. And your net worth is simply just your assets minus any of your liabilities that you have. So each of these is not in order, but I think every single one of them is equally as important as the next. Ever since I started tracking my net worth, it was easy to see where I needed to improve, so it's good to take a look at your net worth every once in a while to see if there's any opportunities for improvement. The more assets that you have and the less liabilities that you have are going to give you more leverage when it comes to doing things in your life. So the first way that I plan on increasing my net worth in 2026 is increasing my income, or just maintaining my income, because honestly, the income is one of the biggest levers you can have when it comes to net worth. If you look at your savings rate, you can increase your income, but you can't decrease your expenses beyond zero. So your expenses can be lowered and lowered and lowered to zero, but realistically that will never happen. But your income is generally uncapped. You can increase your income as much as you can increase it. Increasing your income can take a lot of time. So a great way to increase your income is to take on more responsibility at your job. And this is a great way to do it in the short term. Taking on more responsibility makes you more valuable to a company. There's also a time factor to it. So the more experience that you build up, the more valuable you will be because you will acquire skills just by being there. But it's also important to know the industry that you're in. And sometimes learning stuff outside of work can be a great way to build your skills and something that you might want to learn, but you might not learn through work. So building your skills and maybe even getting a certification could be a great way to leading to a point where you could increase your income. The next thing that I plan to do in 2026 is staying out of debt besides my mortgage. So I also plan on paying down my mortgage, of course, making the monthly payment, but I also plan on making additional principal payments to pay down the balance and increase my equity in my house. In the beginning of your loan, when your balance is super high, the interest that you pay on that beginning balance is going to be super high, which means that even though your monthly payment is the same, most of that payment is going to paying towards interest. So the faster you can pay down the principal balance on your mortgage, the faster that your monthly payments will contribute to that principal. For example, if you have a mortgage that's $300,000 and you have a 6% APR rate on that, you'll be paying $18,000 just in interest alone. And a small portion of your payments will be going towards the principal, but interest will be eating up most of your payment. So I plan on building equity in my house and trying to make any additional payments towards the mortgage that I can. By building equity in my house, I also increase my net worth. The next thing that I plan on doing to increase my net worth is going to be improving any assets that I have or just maintaining the value of the assets that I have. So while you may not own a home, you might own a car, and I'm guessing you do because unless you live in a major city, owning a car is pretty important. Even though a lot of people look at a car as a liability, you'll still want to make sure you're doing your maintenance on your car so that when you do happen to go trade it in or sell it, or you need to move on to another car, it retained the value that it's had as much as possible. So you want to do things like oil changes, any brake maintenance, and things like rotating your tires. This will not only keep it safer for you, but increase the value when you go to sell it or move on to the next vehicle. If you do happen to own a home like me, then I plan on maintaining my home and also improving the value in any way that I can. So for example, the landscaping when we bought the house was not maintained at all and honestly was destroying the curb appeal of the home. So by doing a lot of the work myself and planting new plants and bushes, I'm improving the curb appeal of my home and also the value when I do happen to sell it. It will come in hopefully at a higher value. You can also make cosmetic improvements to your home such as painting, which is a really easy way to make your home looking great. It's also important to maintain your home because this will help things from deteriorating faster than they need to. It can be more costly in the long run because if you do go to sell your house, you'll have this long laundry list of things that you need to fix, and they can be very expensive if you have not maintained them over the years. It's also really easy to do cosmetic things like changing out light fixtures and door handles and things of that nature to improve the cosmetic appeal of the home. Even though some of these things might not improve the value of the home, it will decrease the time that it takes to sell the home, which is valuable in and of itself. The next thing that I want to do is increase my savings rate. And I plan on doing this by taking a look at what subscriptions I have, what expenses I have, and then looking at my credit card statement to see what I'm spending every single month and where I'm spending it. One of the things that I spend a lot of money on is food, so I think I could improve in that area, maybe even buy better quality food and stop eating out so much. I also like to buy high quality clothes so that I'm not constantly buying new clothes that are low quality. I also want to spend money on things that add value to my life, such as hobbies that I have or experiences that are going to lead to new memories with me and my family, instead of spending it on frivolous entertainment that I will forget the next day. There are honestly so many things that want to grab your attention every single day, especially online. So it's really easy to get caught up in entertainment that doesn't add anything to your life. And it's important to have that entertainment sometimes because we do need it to decompress and maybe even socialize, but it's important not to let that take over your spending every single month. After that, I want to make sure that I continue to invest consistently. So investing consistently takes out a lot of the emotion, allows me to spend my time on other things other than investing. In this way, I will invest a certain amount every single month or every single paycheck. I want to make sure that I'm investing in a 401k and I'm getting that employer match at a minimum, which is generally around 2, 3, 4, or 5%. This employer match into your 401k is a great way to increase your net worth because all you have to do is invest that 2, 3, or 4% of your salary into their 401k every year, and they are automatically matching that investment. And the earlier that you do it, the more time that you will have for that money to compound. Another thing that I do is I put a little bit of money into an HSA account. An HSA is a health savings account, and they are generally considered to be triple tax advantage. Now, I hopefully don't plan to spend a lot of money on health expenses, but it's always good to have that in your back pocket for when you do need it. Because let's face it, we're all fragile and we do have to have health expenses from time to time. Another contribution that I like to have is an investment into long-term, low-cost index funds like VOO. Now, this is not advice, but this is something that I do, and it's a great way to look at a long-term plan to maybe even have early retirement. When I look at the S&P 500, I generally see over the past 30 years or so that it has increased significantly at an average rate of around 6 or 7% adjusted for inflation. A low-cost index fund allows me to get into the market and take advantage of the growth of these top 500 companies without having to look into each one individually and take a significant amount of time to understand their earnings, etc. But at the end of the day, having a consistent plan to invest every single week or every single month is a great way to have a plan to invest those dollars without having them free, and then you end up spending them on frivolous things. And finally, the last thing that I'll do is I'll track my net worth to make any adjustments that I might need throughout the year. Because to be honest, your life situation is going to change from month to month and year to year. And realize that as your situation changes, you might need to adjust what you're doing to increase your net worth every single year. And it's important to understand that sometimes your net worth is going to fluctuate or go down because you might be taking some of your assets and spending money on things to improve like your skills, which may not increase your net worth in the short run and may actually decrease it, but in the long run will increase your net worth. If you're able to track it from month to month, you can also see there are certain seasons where you may spend more and you may spend less, so this is my plan to increase my net worth in 2026, and now I want to hear what your plans are to increase your net worth that I might not be doing. So go ahead and leave a comment below and let me know what you might be doing differently. Additionally, I also host a personal finance community on School, so I'm going to leave a link to that in the description, and I will see you guys in the next video.